Hi, this is Zubin Vevaina from A to Z Graphology and welcome to today's video. In this one, I will be explaining to you about the letter Q. The letter Q is one of the most rarely used English alphabets in the language. Is it possible that the structure of the letter Q could be responsible for it being rare? Is it possible that the mindset that it represents on the piece of paper again promotes this letter to be rarely used? How can a graphological point of view be involved in a language property? We'll understand in this video. Why does the Q always have a U letter or sometimes a W following it? What's this property? Why does this happen? We'll understand as we change perspective and carry on with the video. The letter Q that I'm about to explain to you has fewer structures to observe because of its rare occurrence in the handwriting sample. In the English language itself, the letter Q comes rarely, so the chances of you analyzing many structures is almost close to nil. The basic structure of the Q will be explained to you, and then you can go ahead and analyze it if you get a chance to see it in a sample. The letter Q represents instinctive physical anger. Now, when I'm saying anger, it does involve agitation, but also it involves reflex. Quick instinctive reflex can be seen in the letter Q. If you are with your child crossing the road and you're about to get into an accident, in that moment of time, you suddenly get the strength to lift up your child and put them to safety. In a normal scenario, the child would be very heavy and it would be difficult to lift up your child. But in a scenario which is a bit dangerous and it's an emergency, there you get some sort of a physical strength which is not commonly found. This physical strength is instinctive, it is physical in nature, and it is very quick. In the case of a problem where you are being attacked or you're trying to defend yourself, even if you're not a martial artist, there are chances where you can defend yourself by your hand and leg movement having an automatic movement. You cannot see yourself fighting, it's too quick. But this response which your hands do, this response which you do when you get agitated or when you are endangered, this mindset can be seen in the letter Q. Now, what happens is, as the letter Q has an angle which is a bit thinner, means if the person goes back up and this angle is less, that means this person's anger was genuine. As the angle increases and it goes wider, it starts to become an ego related problem. So, these people who have got a narrower angle, their response to stimulus or their response to an endangering scenario can be just for survival. Whereas the person having a broader angle, this person's survival is important, but his ego also is being looked into. So, whenever these people get into a problem or they are crossing the road, or let's say you are getting into a danger, if you have a thinner angle of the letter Q, you're just bothered about saving yourself. But as the Q letter becomes broader, this person not only is bothered about saving himself, but after he does so, he feels offended about what happens, he feels angry, and he could lash out at the person or the scenario that caused it. It's not really required, but it depends on your upbringing and scenario. The thinner the angle, the quicker you can calm down and relax. Another reason why I'm saying this is because if you connect the letter Q to the next letter, normally the letter U, if you have a broader angle, the U letter would come all the way here. If you have a thinner angle, then the U would come all the way here. So whenever the letter spacing becomes too wide, it normally shows a selfish and slightly egoistic mindset. As the letter spacing becomes lesser, the ego becomes less and the practicality of the person improves. The difference between a martial artist and a normal person could be the difference in the angle of their letter Q. This angle starts to decrease when you train yourself to defend yourself better. Now, although I'm saying this and it looks like the Q is only used in bad situations, but also it can be used in good situations where if you are a music player and at the music concert or whenever you're playing your song and suddenly you get that urge to play a slightly different tune, how quickly is your body able to instinctively respond to the change of tune while playing the guitar or while playing the violin? If you have to pull one string extra and it totally makes the song change and it gives a better influence or better vibe to the song, are you able to do that? That can also be seen in the letter Q. So these rare instances of expressing anger or expressing response at a physical level, which is slightly instinctive in nature, that can be seen in the letter Q. The letter Q, if it is having this ending stroke left in the lower zone, then these people's anger, it is present but it's not really practical, and sometimes they will only express this instinctive anger even when it's not required. So these people who leave the Q ending stroke in the lower zone, they can use this instinctive anger even when it's not required, and that can make them look like an agitated or constantly angry person. Now, why does the letter Q always get followed by the letter U? In the videos to come, when I explain the letter U, you will understand that this has some sort of a calming effect on the letter Q. This angle represents instinctive physical response, anger, agitation. Now, after this, yes, it does damage the body a bit and the body needs to recuperate. That recuperation or that healing process is provoked by the letter U. So this calm curve compensates for the sharp angle here. Alright, so I've explained to you about the letter Q. Now I know there are fewer structures to study, but that's the problem with letter Q. It rarely comes up in the handwriting, and the variation of its structure to study and analyze is so rare that it's very difficult to form a proper research. But yes, Q does represent a very important part of the human being. Is your instinctive anger more based for survival and moving on, or are you going to involve your ego into it? The broader the angle of the letter Q, the more your ego is going to get you involved in dangerous situations, and you'll have to be careful about how you represent your anger in the world. Use this letter formation correctly, and you'll be able to save yourself from difficult situations. Not only that, but if you're a artist, if you're a musical artist, if you're a painter, if you get if you're a musician in an orchestra, there'll be times when you get sudden inspiration to put a new tune or a new sort of a melody into your work, and this instinct can be captured in this letter Q. So it's not all that bad, and yeah, it looks that it's a letter for emergencies, but it can help you to grasp the moment physically when required. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, do press the like button, and if you would want to get free notifications and updates on the videos to come, do subscribe to the channel. The next letters are going to be far more interesting because we are going to have even more information to compare with the previous videos. So stay tuned and see you in the next one.